Welcome to the Yes You May podcast, where we discover ways to unlock your confidence by giving yourself permission so that you can joy in your own life and find your ways to live it to its fullest. I'm your host, Amanda May Gray, and today on episode 37, we're going to talk about the ultimate question to create an abundant mindset. And frankly, that's just the newest thing that I've come up with. Whether or not it is the ultimate question, it's currently the ultimate question for me. So I hope it helps you. I've been doing a lot of thinking lately about what my own mental holdups are. And we've talked about this. I have a procrastination issue. I have a lack mentality for money. I have a not feeling good enough mentality that has stemmed probably from my childhood and trying to live up to expectations that others place upon me. And what I really boiled that down to is one of the things that I just said: lack. The ultimate thing that connects all of that and stems all of what I do is this sense of a lack of being good enough, lack of money, which then ends up me being a perfectionist and feeling like, oh, it's not good enough. I have to do more. I always have to find a way to make it better. And that holds me back. It keeps me from doing things. It makes me procrastinate. It makes me question my own abilities. And well, it's not productive. I've been doing a lot of research lately to build my own website and build my brand and figure out what it is that I can help the world with, how I can be of service to others, and how I can create my own thing while doing so. And I keep getting different ideas, and I will tell you, it is a journey. Things feel like they're always changing, and I'm evolving and discovering new things. And today I decided, you know what? That's okay. First of all, that's okay. It can evolve. It's going to evolve until you find that sweet spot. And tweaking here and there, well, I enjoy it. So that's okay too. But in discovering what other people are doing, because market research, I started to feel down on myself. I started to feel like, man, I am not good enough. You know, these people, they've been doing it longer. They look more professional. Look at this, look at that. They went to Harvard. I wanted to, never did. Right? And I started finding all of the little things that they appear to be doing better or more of. And I realized in the few moments where I was like, ugh, I feel terrible. They're only a few steps ahead of me, A. And the only reason I'm not there is because, well, I haven't started sooner. And because I ultimately haven't been taking myself seriously enough. And I think that's a journey. I think it's a journey to get to the point where you're taking yourself seriously and you feel like you can be amongst the stars. But at the same time, nobody's going to come along and hand that to you. You have to decide that you're going to play big. You have to decide that you're going to be just as good as them, that you're going to be better. And then you have to decide to take those steps to get there, to think about it, analyze, break it down. What can I do? And to know that it's going to be a process and a journey. But what that means is you have to do some inner work and really dig deep to figuring out what that core thing is that's holding you back. What's that ultimate word? And it's going to be different for everybody. And maybe for some of you, it is lack. I'm sure there's plenty of other words, but that's the one that I came up with that really hit that core. Why did I not feel good enough? Why did seeing people who were doing more than I was and was further along in the journey make me feel like, oh, I can't, there's no way, because of that lack. And when I identified that core thing that stems for everything else, that's when I started to realize I could make a change. I also listened to Dr. Joe Dispenza recently, and he was talking about how ultimately it's identifying that one thing and then being cognizant of it in your life, bringing awareness to when you're doing it, which led me down to this idea of my ultimate question for creating my abundance mindset versus my lack mentality. And simply enough, came up with, whenever I feel like I'm lacking, I'm not good enough, I don't have enough money, I could never, I blah, 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 I catch myself, and it doesn't happen every time, admittedly, but I'm more cognizant because I'm doing this practice now. And I change that with this one question: what would the abundant person do? What would the abundant person do? What would the abundant me do? If I was already abundant, what would I do? What would I think? What would I say? What actions would I take? Sometimes it's easier to not put yourself in the situation, but instead to project it to somebody else. So if saying what would the abundant me do doesn't feel right and isn't getting you that far, say the abundant person. Or think of somebody that you know who you look up to that is abundant in your mind. Rephrase it to what would they do? So instead of holding yourself back, you're reframing that thought. But then do it. That's the key. Start doing whatever you think that person would be doing. What's that first small step to get there? Okay, let's break it down. Let's brainstorm. I've decided, instead of waiting for people to come to me and reaching out to clients constantly and finding big corporations to work with, I decided I would start my own webinar, workshop, host my own workshop that individuals can come to, business professionals can come to learn how to elevate their presence on camera and video calls. Now, this is a workshop that I train on and I take to corporations and empower these professionals so that they too can have a great presence and embrace this video medium and really conquer the camera. But instead of waiting for all those leads to roll in and the contracts to get signed and the proposals to be met, I decided, well, can I just host my own thing and allow individuals to come to it? Yeah. But that seemed overwhelming. Where do I start? So I took pen to paper and I made a brain dump. I said, what would the abundant person do? Well, they'd think it through and they'd come up with all the things that they need. Okay, I need XYZ, right? I need this list of things to actually make this happen. Okay, start at the top of the list. Doesn't matter where it is. Figure all those elements out. Start taking action on those elements. And that's how I have begun. And I'm not perfect yet. Frankly, this is a new thing. And generally, when I come up with something new to talk to you guys about, it's because I just thought of it. That's what I've started to do, is reframe from not feeling good enough, not being there, to thinking about what someone else or myself in that abundant mind space, what they would do, and then following through and taking action on that. Maybe abundance isn't your issue, but how can you reframe that for your own self? Let me know how it goes. Because I think this one question really ultimately is going to help out. not just me, but hopefully others as well. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you listening to the Yes You May podcast. Of course, please subscribe, like, comment, let me know your thoughts. Share this with somebody that you think could use that idea, that question. And if you're interested in joining the How to Elevate Your Presence on Video Calls webinar workshop, go ahead and check out my website, amandamaygray.com, Maegray, and all the details are there. Thank you, and I hope you have a beautiful, a little bit more abundant day today.